So this just happened on the House floor.
I rise today on the floor of Congress to speak out against the ban on TikTok that will take place in 6 days on January 19th. I call on President Biden and President-elect Trump to put a pause on this ban so 170 million Americans don't lose their free speech, and millions of Americans' livelihood will be ended if this ban takes place. We need to be for free speech. We can protect Americans' data. We can protect us from foreign interference on algorithms, but we should not ban TikTok.
So what does that mean? Well, first, we are still waiting for the ruling from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will ultimately decide whether the law that bans TikTok is constitutional. But what Representative Ro Khanna of California was just asking for this morning on the House floor is for either President Biden or President-elect Trump to exercise the power given to the president in the law to put a presidential pause on the ban. Now, whether President Biden or President-elect Trump will listen to him and actually do that is anyone's guess. But perhaps if you put pressure on your lawmaker to then put pressure on Biden or Trump, maybe one of them will actually do it. But before you go pressuring anyone, you should know how your representative or your senator voted on the TikTok ban. Chances are your House representative voted yes, because most of them voted yes. But there are some that voted no. And then when the TikTok bill got to the Senate, things got a little trickier. So if you want to see exactly how your lawmaker voted, I am going to email you the official list in my Facts HQ newsletter, so make sure you sign yourself up. Okay, you have to understand, of the 435 members of the United States House of Representatives, 352 voted yes to ban TikTok. In the United States Senate, 79 out of 100 voted yes. That's a lot. We don't see that overwhelming kind of support very often. And yes, it was Democrats and Republicans. So don't believe the BS on the internet. Oh, it was a Republicans' fault. Oh, it was Democrats' fault. No, it was all of their fault. It started with Trump during his first term back in 2020. He tried multiple times to ban TikTok. And then the effort in the House and the Senate continued, and it passed under Biden. Those are the facts. Now, before you go blaming anyone, you need to understand what really happened. In the House of Representatives, the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act, which is the law that forces TikTok to either divest or be banned, was a standalone bill. That was all that was in it. It passed on March 13, 2024. The final vote was 352 to 65. One member voted present. 197 Republicans voted yes. 155 Democrats voted yes. 14 members did not vote. 7 were Democrats, 7 were Republicans. But here's where things got tricky. By early April of 2024, the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act was not getting any traction in the Senate. Senators really did not want to touch it even after the House had passed it. So House Speaker Mike Johnson tried again, using a method that House speakers and Senate majority leaders have been using forever. Speaker Johnson created a bundle package. He wrapped the TikTok ban bill into a 5-bill monster bill that included $95 billion of foreign aid for Ukraine, Israel, and the Indo-Pacific, and included sanctions for China, Russia, and Iran. And now that monster bill had a little something for everyone. It passed in the House again. And this time, now that it included all those other things, all of a sudden the Senate was like, we need to get this monster bill up for a vote. And in the end, on April 23rd of 2024, the Senate passed it. The final vote was 79 to 18 with 3 members not voting. Now, I'm not saying bundling bills together is a good way to do business, but it has been used for a long time because generally it's the only way that things seem to get done in Congress. Again, not defending anyone, but you also have to understand that sometimes lawmakers vote yes on these big, massive bill packages because of the one thing they really like that's important to them, even if there's other stuff in there that they hate. And off the top of my head, I can tell you Senator Rand Paul, a Republican from Kentucky, did not cast a vote on that monster bill package. And Senator Ed Markey, a Democrat from Massachusetts, voted yes on this bill. But both of them have been vocal advocates to stop the TikTok ban. In fact, the two of them, plus Representative Ro Khanna, filed a brief with the Supreme Court asking them to save TikTok. So now that you know the whole story, once you look at those lists that I'm going to email you tonight, make sure you talk to your lawmaker who represents you or your state and tell him or her how you feel about the TikTok ban and whether you think he or she should put some pressure on Trump or Biden to issue that presidential pause on the TikTok ban.